Welcome to the digital launch of SUMI Pride, a safe, novel Japanese product for bedbug control. We will begin the launch shortly.
Hello and welcome to the digital launch of SUMI Pride, a safe, novel Japanese product for bedbug control. Before we proceed further, I'd like to inform you that this event would be recorded for quality purposes. I also request all our guests to keep themselves on mute during the event, but that does not mean that you will not be given a chance to speak. Dear friends, each one of you who has joined us here today is very important to us. And let me tell you that towards the end of the session, we have a question and answer session just for you, where you can ask all your questions to our team of experts. And now for the spectacular team of the event. So ladies and gentlemen, let me have the pleasure of introducing to you our team of experts from the United States. Dr. Bala Srinivas, the Global Business, Mr. Chris Swain, Director, Technical Services, Mr. Thomas Powell, Technical Services Specialist. Our team of experts from India comprises of Mr. Nilesh Sawant, Senior Manager, Mr. Sunil Saha, Senior Manager, and our team of energetic and dynamic salespeople. And I am Garima Pandey, your host for this event, and I take care of the digital marketing division at Sumitomo Chemical India Limited. So be a part of this interesting event and win your e-certificate. And now, let's take a look at the agenda of this program. So that's the agenda of today's program. And we have a corporate video of Sumitomo Chemical India Limited. We have a welcome address by Mr. Chetan Shah, the new product introduction by Bala Srinivas, and a small video. Then again, we have our presentation from the team of the United States. We have a small video again, and then features and benefits from Mr. Nilesh Sawant. So Sumitomo Chemical India Limited merged with Excel Crop Care, and it became a stronger power after that merger. So here's presenting to you a small video that tells the power of Sumitomo Chemical India Limited. Sumitomo Chemical India Limited is indeed a power to reckon with. And now we have with us a speech from our MD, Mr. Chetan Shah. He could not make it for the event, but he has left his message for all of you. I am sharing that small message from our Managing Director, Mr. Chetan Shah.
Dear friends, I welcome you to a great digital launch of SUMI Pride, a safe and novel Japanese product for the control of bedbugs. It is truly a matter of pride for us to introduce this much awaited and wanted product in the Indian market. We at Sumitomo are grateful to all of you for the trust and confidence that you have shown on our various other products introduced so far in the market. I have no doubt that you will take up SUMI Pride in a similar manner. The emphasis on quality and safety for us is the basis of our progress. Through this basic principle, we pledge to be part of building healthy, safe and clean India. SUMI Pride is not only a very important product for Sumitomo, but it is also for the citizens of India. Bedbugs nuisance has multiplied in the country, and this is the first truly specific product to control bedbugs nuisance. It is coming to you and for the consumers after a long research and trials. We are certain with your cooperation to achieve the highest level of success on SUMI Pride. Let us all work together for healthy India. Jai Hind.
So that was a message from our Managing Director, Mr. Chetan Shah. And ladies and gentlemen, it's really nice to see you here, gathered here. And I ensure that whatever questions you have, all of those questions will be answered. So you have a separate question and answer session where you can ask questions from our team of experts. So please have patience, stay with us, enjoy the session and get that e-certificate. And now I'd like to call upon Dr. Bala Srinivas, the Global Business Lead for introduction to the new product launch. Bala, all yours.
Thank you very much. Thank you for the kind introduction. Much appreciated. Thank you all. Thank you for being here. It's my pleasure to represent the professional pest control global business of Sumitomo Chemicals. Today, we're excited to launch a new product for controlling bed bugs. It's an innovative product specifically for India. Now, growing up in Mumbai, it's really exciting for me to see new product introductions in Mumbai. Though currently I'm in US, but I've been in Mumbai and quite a few other places for the business. New products are crucial and it's important, it's innovative, it helps you grow your business. At the end of the day, the purpose of new product is to make your life easy and to make sure that your customers are happy. So new products are extremely important to us. India is a key segment for Sumitomo Chemicals for the professional pest control product. So we make sure that we spend all our time and effort. SUMI Pride is one of the first innovative products we are launching, but hold on, there are more new innovations that's going to be coming down to this particular market. Being a global player, we have the opportunity to bring experts, expertise, chemicals, and technology from all parts of the world. And we are doing exactly the same thing. To support the launch out here, we're getting a couple of experts from North America who will be talking the next few minutes. The two gentlemen are Chris Swain and Tommy Powell. Chris Swain is the Director of Technical Service with MGK, which is a Sumitomo Chemical affiliate in North America. He has been in the industry for more than 15, 20 years. He has been a PMP owner. He has got a bachelor's and a master's in entomology. And he brings in a lot of experience and expertise in controlling bed bugs in US. And he'll be talking about the same. He'll be followed by Tommy Powell. Tommy Powell is a senior technical specialist who's been with us for 15 years plus. He's been a technical director in multiple different pest control companies, and he brings in a lot of expertise. And he believes that good training, good protocol is extremely important over and above the chemical that does the job. So we're going to hear both from Chris Swain and Tommy Powell in the next few minutes. But before that, we'll see a short video of the product, SUMI Pride. I do request you to stay till the end of the session. And as Garima said, ask all the questions. You need to be convinced that this product works for you, and we are here to make sure that you are convinced.
Bedbugs are insects that feed on multiple hosts, including humans, dogs, cats, and other animals. At night, these tiny creatures sneak out of their hiding place to feast on you without your permission. They know where you are because of the carbon dioxide and heat of the bodies. And what's scarier is that the bedbugs administer an anesthetic, so you don't wake up. A bedbug can suck blood 3 times its weight in a single meal. Gradually, they create a big family that lives happily in the bed crevices and mattresses. But are you happy? Bedbug bites can cause skin rashes, blisters, allergies, other infections, and anemia. Bedbugs can be controlled by applying IPM strategies, that is, communicate with or educate people, physical or mechanical means, and through chemicals. But a more effective and long-lasting approach is the use of insecticides. However, their resistance to many insecticides has increased significantly over a period of time. And now, let's hear it from our team of experts from the United States, Mr. Chris Swain, Director Technical Services, and Mr. Thomas Powell, the Technical Services Specialist on the lessons learned from bedbug control in the United States.
So, ladies and gentlemen, that's Mr. Chris Swain and Thomas Powell for you.
Okay, today Chris and I are going to talk about the U.S. bedbug market, the resurgence, the evolution of bedbug control, what we've learned about bedbug biology and behavior, and the protocols and chemistries that we currently are using, along with some field trials. The resurgence for bedbugs occurred in the United States in the late 1990s and 2000. Mainly because of travel, which is very similar to the current state of the bedbug market in India. In the beginning in the US, very few companies even offered a bedbug service. There was ineffective treatment protocols or no protocols at all. And chemical options were very, very slim. Currently, the majority of pest control companies treat for bed bugs, and the treatments are done in single family and multifamily apartment style homes. And the season seems to be in the summer, again, when people are traveling. There's a lot of education, customer education, that has improved people's understanding of bed bugs and the problem as a whole. And callback rates have significantly dropped from the high of 2010 of almost 10% to 2019 of 3.5%, which is a significant savings for most of our pest control companies in a lot of labor. The majority of pest control companies rely on insecticide treatments, sometimes in combination with other methods of control like mattress covers, monitors, and things like vacuuming. What we've learned about the biology of the bed bug is that a single female, after a mating event, can produce eggs from 35 to 50 days. And every 10 days, she needs a blood meal to produce those eggs, which is concern for your customers and should be a concern for you. And in a lifetime, these females can lay 200 to 500 eggs. So it is very likely that a single female starts most of the infestations in residential homes and apartments. Adults can live from 6 to 7 months. Can you go back one slide? Sorry. Okay. And bed bugs can survive a long period of time under starving conditions. And what we've learned is in that starving conditions, bed bugs don't disperse and look for new blood sources of blood. They tend to cluster or group together. And they can do that for about 4 to 6 months without a blood meal. So they can live in starving conditions for about 4 to 6 months. And dispersal, movement from one area to another, is what we found is based on the size of the group or cluster that they're in. Next slide. The bedbug life cycle, there's 5 nymphal stage, and each nymph actually each stage has to have a blood meal. So again, feeding on your customer, concern for you and your customer. Every time a bed bug goes through a different stage, they have to have that blood meal. Now, if there is a ready blood source for them, if they have a blood source available all the time, they can go from egg to adult in about 30 days. It could take 156 days if that blood meal is not so available to them.
Let me unmute myself. Okay, so I'm going to talk about Crossfire. And if you're not familiar with Crossfire, it's a product here in the US that contains clothianidin. We launched Crossfire, MGK launched Crossfire in 2016. And since its launch, it's really become the go-to product for bedbug control. If you ask any PMP here in the US, they're typically going to say 2 things about Crossfire. One thing that they always say is it is very efficacious, and we love to hear that. Compared to what they were using in the past, when they try Crossfire, they say it's very, very effective on bedbugs. Now, the second thing they say when you ask them about Crossfire, they say it saves them money. Now, with my background owning a pest control company and Tommy's background as being a technical director, we love to hear that because that's important, to hear from our customers. And we're going to talk a little bit more about that as we get into the presentation. But I want to give just a little bit of background of why we launched Crossfire, how it came to be. And just bear with me. I'm going to tie it all together and it makes sense. So, Tommy mentioned in his presentation earlier in a few slides, he talked about the resurgence of bed bugs. And there was 3 reasons why we saw this resurgence. The first one was travel. The second one, we really didn't have good protocols in the 1990s. We weren't familiar with bed bugs and we didn't have good protocols in place to treat for bed bugs. Now, the third thing, which I think is most significant, we really didn't have good active ingredients and we really didn't have good products at the time. If you look at the evolution of insecticides in the US, if we go all the way back to 1940s, 1950s, we had the chlorinated hydrocarbons, essentially DDT. And in 1960s to 1970s, then we had organophosphates and carbamates. But in 1980 to the 1990s, which was the time we started to see a little bit of this resurgence, we had pyrethroids. Pyrethroids were one of the most common active ingredients during that time frame. And it pretty much coincided right before the resurgence of bedbugs. So guess what we used? We used a lot of pyrethroids. And at that time, they weren't necessarily the best options, but that's what we had here in the US. And the second part of that is, if we had products with bed bugs on the label at that time, that was a good thing, because no one really were creating bed bug products at that time. So if you just found a product that had bed bugs on the label, that was a big plus. And so we had PMPs using a lot of pyrethroids and some other active ingredients as well, but as a result, because they really weren't designed for bed bugs, we had a high callback rate. I mean, a very high callback rate. Tommy talked about it earlier. It was essentially 9 to 10%. So all of you out there listening, I'm pretty sure you're familiar with callback rates. Think about a 10% callback rate. What does that mean to your bottom line? 10%. Owning a pest control company, that eats into the bottom line significantly. And the second thing about a 10% callback rate is, do you have happy customers? If you got to keep going back here in the US, that makes for unhappy customers. And that's what we were dealing with in the 1990s. We had high callback rates and we had unhappy customers. And so what we had in the world of academia and pest control, people wanted to know why the products currently on the market were not working. And there's really 2-3 reasons why. And as I mentioned them, I want you to think about your market and see if there's some similarities. The first reason why we have so many high callback rates or retreatments at that time was really the cryptic nature of bed bugs. They like to hide. And when we go out, whether it's you or me or Tommy, and you do an application in a home or hotel, even to our best of our efforts to inspect and find them all, when we treat at that moment, we're only going to kill the bed bugs that are present there. And sometimes we can't find all the bed bugs that are not there. They're hidden. And so what do we have to rely on? Well, we've got to rely on the residual of the product. Tommy just talked about the biology of bed bugs, and part of what he talked about is the fact that they're going to come out and feed, when they need to eat, and then they're going to go back and harbor. Now, if there's no one in the room, they could be harboring for months. So when are they going to come out? Is it tomorrow? Is it a week from now? Is it 2 weeks? It all depends. But the only thing you have to rely on is the residual of your product when they do come out. And if it's not there, and that was the case with a lot of these other products, guess what? You're going back out. The second reason why you could have a high callback rate, it's because of what we call reinfestations. And that means that you might go out and you might do a really good job of killing all the bed bugs. Let's say you wipe them all out and you leave, bed bugs are dead or they're dying. 2 or 3 weeks later, you get a call from the customer to come back out because they've got bed bugs again. Well, what happened? Well, what happens is you've got customers, they may go to a relative's home or a friend's home, and they take their clothing, they take their luggages, they take their suitcases, their backpacks, their toys, whatever, in an area where they might have gotten the bed bugs to begin with, and then they come back home and they bring those items back to the house. Well, what happens? Bed bugs like clothing, they like all those things that maybe they took over to the friend's house, and now you're reintroducing those bed bugs back into that home. And that's why you're getting the call. So what do you depend on when you bring them back? It's the residual again. So if the product that you treated is not biologically available when they bring those items back into the home, guess what's going to happen? They pick up the phone, they call you back out, and they say you didn't do a good job. So in both of those scenarios, the residual of the product is key. The third one, and Tommy talks about this in every single presentation, and it ties in to the protocol piece. It's clutter. A lot of times there's just too much stuff in the home, and you're not able to get the product where you need to get the product. And that's part of what we're doing a better job of in our protocols. Now, as a result of all those things, you had this mad scramble from every manufacturer to find active ingredients that provided residual for bed bugs. And what MGK did, we had access to clothianidin. We did a lot of lab studies and we did a lot of field studies to see, well, how does this active ingredient work on bed bugs? And ultimately, it was one of the best actives that we found for controlling bed bugs. Now, clothianidin is a SCC active ingredient. And for our partners out in India, that's a good thing because they have access to clothianidin as well. And they were able to create their own product that has the same efficacy, the same residual as Crossfire, which was really successful here in the US. And that product is SUMI Pride. And it also contains clothianidin. Next slide, please. So what is clothianidin? Clothianidin is a neonicotinoid. Now, it was back in the 1990s to 2000s when you really saw an increase in neonicotinoids in the US. And the reason why we loved neonics at the time was they had a low affinity to binding to vertebrate receptors, but they had a high affinity to binding to insect receptors. And that's what was really appealing about neonics. And so if you look at the mode of action of a neonicotinoid, it's considered an agonist. And it binds to the nicotine receptors in insects, and an agonist causes an action. It's the opposite of an antagonist, which prevents or inhibits an action. So it binds to the receptors of an insect, nicotine acetylcholine receptor, and it paralyzes the insect. So that's how it works. It's similar to nicotine, the natural active ingredient. And it binds, and it eventually causes death within insects. And the second part of that is there's really no known cross resistance to the other insecticides that's been used in the marketplace pretty frequently. So there's no cross resistance to pyrethroids, organophosphates, or carbamates, which they've been around and you have developed some resistance to these products. So that's another thing that's good about neonicotinoids. There's no cross resistance to other active ingredients that's been in the marketplace for a long time. It's considered a superagonist. So what does that mean? That means it binds tightly to the receptors, which ultimately improves efficacy. That's a good thing. And that's really unique to clothianidin. If you look at the other neonics, you don't have these superagonists like with the clothianidin active ingredient. They're non-repellent, and that's something that there's some question about that, but Tommy probably would agree with me. Non-repellence is a good thing when it comes to most insects, and particularly if you want them to stay on a surface. Bedbugs will cross over almost anything for blood meal, but the general idea here is that we probably agree non-repellence is a good thing. Clothianidin is a third generation neonic. I don't want to go through all of the different generations, but the first generation was imidacloprid, the second thimethoxam, the third generation was your clothianidin, as well as dinotefron. There's some slight differences in each one of the generations. The first generation imidacloprids, they weren't the first neonic. The first was nithanazine. It was created by Shell in 1970. The problem with that neonic, it didn't have a long residual and it broke down in sunlight. But it was the baseline or the blueprint to create an imidacloprid, which it had a better efficacy, and it had better photostability. The second one's really focused on lipid layers and binding, and then the third generations, it was more so of the binding. So there's some little nuances between those three generations. The very last thing about clothianidin, it has a long half-life, particularly if you look at a lot of the data in soil. It lasts for 2 years, and I won't spend too much time on that because we're going to get into some residual studies that's really important when you look at clothianidin. Next slide, please. So here's the residual study I just referenced. And what's really the key thing I want you to focus on in this slide, just think about all your PMPs out there. Where are you treating the most? So you're typically going to treat mattress and unpainted wood. If you go into a lot of homes or hotel rooms, the back of the headboard, the baseboard, underneath the nightstand, the box spring, the mattress itself, those are the things you treat the most. Those are the hot spots. So when you run these studies, it's important to actually treat the surfaces where bed bugs are going to be at. You're not going to really want to treat concrete or ceramic tile or stainless steel, because they're typically not in those areas. You want to treat the areas or the surfaces where bed bugs are going to be located. Now, there's one more thing about the study that I want to point out. The exposure time in this study is only 5 minutes. Now, you don't see that here, but I want to talk about why that is significant. A lot of studies that you see from a lot of the competitive products, the way they run those studies is they'll leave a bed bug on a surface, typically for an hour, 4 hours, or maybe even continuously until that bed bug dies. So they'll leave it on the surface, they'll take it off, and then they'll look and see, well, does it die? A lot of times they do, and the data looks great. But what's the problem with that? Here's the problem. In the real world, does anybody know how long it takes a bed bug to actually come out of harvest feed and go back? Somewhere between 6 to 12 minutes. So if you're looking at data that's had a bed bug on the surface for an hour or 4 hours, or continuously, that's not necessarily what you're going to see in the field. And so the data will look good, and you'll take that very same product, you'll put it out in the real world, and what happens? It doesn't work. What we did with clothianidin is we only exposed it to mattress and unpainted wood for just 5 minutes, and then we took it off the surface. And what's significant about that, that's a shorter time frame than what bed bugs typically stay on a substrate, which is between 6 to 12 minutes. So if you look at these different time points, we got 3 months, and basically the materials are aged. You put the product on them, you let them age for 3 months, you put the product on them, 6 months, 12 months. At 3 months on mattress, we got about 95% mortality. We got 100% on unpainted wood. You go all the way out to 6 months, you've got 100% mortality on both of those substrates. Now look at the very last one, 12 months, that's a year. It's 100% mortality on mattress after a year. And this is still 5 minutes. And let me talk about what that means. We took a bed bug, we put it on that surface for 5 minutes, and we took it off, and it still died after a year. And it was 95% on unpainted wood. Now that's significant, because what we talked about earlier, what do you need to control bed bugs and why you've got those high callback rates? Residual, that's important. So what this study demonstrates is that clothianidin is one of the actives that provides that long residual that you do need to control bed bugs. Next slide, please. Tommy, back to you on this one.
So treatment protocols in the US are part of an IPM plan, and the components of that usually are communication, physical removal of bed bugs, we'll talk about that, and of course, insecticide treatments, which Chris has been talking about. Next slide. Before any treatment's done, in the protocols that are working in the US, we do an inspection. And communication is a big part of that inspection, because what we've learned is that bed bugs tend to harbor and cluster in groups near a food source within 5 feet. So when you see studies done, 93% of the time, bed bugs are found within 5 foot of a food source. So that's very important to know. So talking to your customers is critical to know where they spend a lot of time sedentary, not moving a lot, or sleeping. So those are the areas you want to inspect. Next slide. When we're doing inspections, we're looking for the cast skins, the shedded skins of a bed bug. We're looking for fecal deposits and dried blood on the sheets. We're also looking for dead bed bugs or live bed bugs, and we're looking for the eggs. And also, using monitors is a great tool to find hidden pockets, because sometimes when you're doing an inspection, you don't find all the places where bed bugs are hiding and harboring. So monitors will help you do that to find those hidden pockets of bed bugs. Next slide. We like to do a lot of physical, not only with chemicals, we like to kill, bed bugs with chemicals, but we like to do a lot of physical removal of bed bugs using vacuum cleaners. Now, bed bugs can cause allergens in the room. So we recommend that if you're going to try this, you're going to use a vacuum cleaner, use a vacuum cleaner that has a filter that can filter out any allergens that bed bugs can produce. And we do that before the inspection or during the inspection. The operators will come in with a vacuum during their inspection, or maybe come back afterwards when they find a cluster of bed bugs and remove them. And you can get up to 50% control with just a vacuum cleaner. And we've done those studies in the US. So it's a great tool to reduce overall population before you even do any treatments. Next slide. We like to do what we call a treatment zone. And the treatment zone concept is all it is creating an area where you're going to treat. So you're going to clear a space in the room, and you're going to do all your treatments in that zone. And the reason why you want to do that, if you're creating a treatment zone, you're going to treat the floor area in this zone where those arrows are pointing to, and then you're going to move a dresser or something into that treatment zone, because if bed bugs are disturbed in their cluster, they can try to move and escape. And this allows them to cross a treated area before they can move into other parts of the room. So the treatment zone concept actually allows you to get treatment on bed bugs that are trying to escape while you're doing your treatment. We remove all the pictures and anything off the wall, especially remember in that 5-foot barrier. So anything within 5 foot of where that food source is, we're going to remove all pictures, any kind of cover over cords or anything like that. We're going to treat all those items. Next slide. Typically, as a pest control operators, we typically focus low when we're treating for insects. But with bed bugs, we find that bed bugs will also harbor and cluster in groups high up in the ceiling areas, next to wallpaper, and even in crown molding. We found them in all kinds of things, even high up. So we train our technicians to treat up high too, in that 5-foot area. Next slide. We use a lot of our equipment so bed bugs do harbor in cracks and crevices. So you need to get something to eject chemicals deep into those cracks and crevices. And this is a piece of equipment that is very common in the United States, where we use this treatment straw and to inject those chemicals into that crack or crevice in this compressed air sprayer. MGK did a video for a pest control company in California.
Make sure you focus on the cracks and crevices. Remember, anywhere
you
hit put a business
mute on it
is a great place for bed bugs to hide. Also, you want to make sure you treat any screws or screw holes you find in the frame. When treating mattresses, use Crossfire aerosol to treat the tufts and folds. Crossfire concentrate is labeled for surface treatments of the mattress. To ensure successful treatment, carefully remove the cheesecloth from the bottom of the box spring and other furniture so you don't scatter bed bugs and eggs throughout the room. Now that you've treated the surface of the mattress and box spring, treat the interior of the box spring and focus on the cracks and crevices where bed bugs hide. When treating household items like couches and chairs, make sure you treat the tufts and folds of the cushions, then focus on the folds of the chair itself. Any flaps that might be on the chair, you want to make sure you treat those. And the bottom of the chair, you might want to remove the felt. And if there's legs on the chair, you want to make sure you get a good crack and crevice treatment at the top of the leg. When treating dressers and nightstands, remove the dresser drawers if possible. You want to use Crossfire aerosol with the foaming cap in the cracks and crevices of the bottom of the drawer, the rails of the drawer, and inside the drawer.
So one of the things I wanted to mention that a lot of operators, when I like to teach technicians where to treat, I don't usually treat the surface of furniture. Bed bugs don't like to climb smooth surfaces. So like I was saying in that video, I focus on the back side, underneath the dresser, and on the inside of the dresser when we're doing treatments. After our treatment, most pest control operators will return to the apartment or residence within 1 to 2 weeks to do another inspection or additional treatments. And this has completely changed. Like Chris said, when we first started to do bed bug treatments, pest control companies would go back 3 to 4 times on average just to get control of an infestation. Now, with better protocols and better chemistries like Crossfire and SUMI Pride, we're able to go, and again, this saves a lot of money and labor. We're able to go 1 follow-up visit or inspecting and clearing a unit or a residence, and or do an extra treatment. That's pretty common now, is 1 initial treatment and then a follow-up treatment, and then we're moving on to the next job. And that, again, like Chris was saying, saves you a lot of money and labor. We also like to use monitors as part of our identifications for control. So if you're putting out monitors after you do the treatment, when you come back and you're doing your inspection, you can check those monitors quickly to see if you've got good control of bed bugs. If you find live bed bugs in the monitor, you might do additional treatments. And education, again, is key to your customers to prevent reinfestation.
All right. So now we want to talk about field studies. And field studies are very important to MGK's technical team. When, we look at a lot of the data from the lab, and that's great. That's just the starting point. But, where the rubber meets the road, so to speak, is how does it perform in the field? That's what's important to us. I mean, lab data is great, but at the end of the day, it's got to work in the field. So we spend a lot of time before the launch of a product and even and during the launch of a product doing field studies. And so here's some examples. So we've got a lot of great lab data. What does it do in the field? This particular study was in a hotel, and I actually had the pleasure of doing this study with a pest control company out in St. Louis. At this particular hotel, it was 350 rooms, and they had a callback every single month, at least 1 or 2 callbacks for years. And they were never able to really get control of the bedbug population there. It was just expected that, the pest control company is going to come out at least once or twice every month. That was standard for years. Here, we took 350 rooms, treated every single room with we call it a proactive treatment. So some of the rooms, there was nothing there, but we went in and did a proactive treatment. And it wasn't even a full treatment. It literally took 35 seconds to 50 seconds in each one of these rooms. It was hot spots, and that was it. And then we went to the next room. And after 9 months of 0 bed bugs, now keep in mind, they had callbacks every single month. They didn't have a single callback until 9 months. And when they showed up, the pest control company showed up, it was a dead bed bug that they found. So it wasn't even a live bed bug. And what's really significant is, we had all the data in the lab that showed it looked great, but when we took it in the field, and this is what's most important, the field data matched the lab data. This account, they never had control, and you were able to go out and do a proactive treatment, and this for 9 months, nothing, 1 bed bug, and it actually went past a year. So that shows the residual of clothianidin. That is what makes Crossfire and SUMI Pride successful products, the clothianidin piece. It has a very long residual, and that is key to controlling bed bugs. Now, there's several other studies that we've done. We did one in a theater. In this theater, it was, I want to say it was out in California, and had a lot of transient people come in. It had bed bugs for years. We had one of our big companies go out and do a Crossfire treatment, wiped it out in the theater. We had another study that was done in a residential home, where I actually got the chance to participate in that one as well. What was really bad about this, it was a residential home, but it was set up for homeless people. And in the voids, you had like 5 or 6 different layers, and no matter what product you treated, they never got control of the bedbug population. It was because of the way the structure was designed. There was too many harbage areas that bedbugs could hide. You just couldn't get to them. We went in and we treated every single room with Crossfire. Within 2 or 3 months, we killed that population of bedbugs. It's been the best in terms of control that they've ever had in that account. So just to tie this all together, we've done studies on multiple homes, hotels, theaters, multiple structures. It works in pretty much in every structure that we've tested it on. Next slide, please. So to sum up everything here, Crossfire contains clothianidin, and it has been a very successful product in the U.S. market. We call it a game changer. The number one reason is because of the residual of the product. You've been able to cut out all these callbacks. And like Tommy mentioned, labor, number one, most expensive thing for any pest control company is labor. And the clothianidin piece, because of the residual, that is why it's been a successful product here in the US. And the same can be said for in India. When you look at the India market with SUMI Pride, the connection here is the clothianidin. It also provides long residual. It also is going to be very efficacious. And so whether it's in the US or whether it's in India, because of the molecule clothianidin and its ability to last for a long time on the substrates where bed bugs are found, you've got two very successful products in two different regions. And what's the common denominator? Clothianidin. So to wrap it up, we're very happy to provide effective bedbug products in the US market and with SUMI Pride in the India market. And we look forward to a very successful launch of SUMI Pride.
Thank you for that wonderful presentation. So now we have the next set of presentation from the people you have heard, you have talked to. Yes, our team of experts from India, Mr. Nilesh Sawant and Mr. Sunil Saha. So Mr. Nilesh and Sunil, may I now invite you for your round of presentation.
Yeah, good morning to one and all, and welcome for this online launch of SUMI Pride. Life has been the challenges nowadays. It has been tough going for all of us last 10 to 12 years. We travel a lot. We have to burn our blood to get our jobs done. Lots of expectations from our office staff, or business staff, or clients, and then we require a sound sleep at night. But if the bed bugs are there, do we really get sound sleep? That's the question. Next slide. Gariman, next slide. So the agenda for today is what are market challenges with bedbugs. Then we will be speaking about product details and features and benefits of SUMI Pride. We're speaking about efficacy studies of SUMI Pride and how do we apply this product for bedbug control. Next slide. So what's happening now? The world has become very small. The international travel, the national travel, the travel within the country has increased with the education level going up. And while we travel by train, we travel by plane, we travel by buses, and we stay at dormitories, hotels, or lodges anywhere. And accidentally or unknowingly carry these bedbugs if present anywhere. And when you go back to workplaces or at our residences, the bedbugs are there. Again, with bedbugs, they can stay without food for more than 100 days, more than 100 to 200 days. So it's very difficult for them to be controlled. The rapid urbanization, the rapid growing of cities has forced the couples to work. Initially 10, 15 years before, more or less the man in the house to work and the ladies take care of the household. The hygiene has been at stake in the last 10 to 12 years, and the paucity of time has caused all these issues to raise up. In last 40 years, we have been using a single product for bedbug control, which is the registered product, and we have overused it. Time and time, we have been using the same product, and the register issue on the product has increased. Next slide. So when we thought about the bedbug product to be brought in the market, me and Sunil, we used to debate a lot, we discussed a lot. We went to a lot of pest control organizations, and we came to know that what questions arose in the minds of these youth. They wanted something which will provide them long-term bedbug control, which can not question the credibility in market, which cannot hamper the image in market. For the last 14 years, the last 10 to 12 years, the registered issues of bedbugs towards the pesticide like carbamide or synthetic pyrethroid. Lot of time complaints used to come of the single service 1, 2, 3. We had to repeatedly go
ごめんなさい。会社に電話かけようと思ったんですけど、ちょっと携帯が今使えなくてごめんなさい。大丈夫ですか？すみません。先ほどお願いした件って大丈夫ですかね？
Ide-san, can you just put your mic on mute?
Hello. And secondly, what we saw was that the
で、
PCO
RC の、はい、吉田さんにも送ってもらうだけでいいです。ファイル。戻ってきてから。
other thing what the PCO expected was that they required a product which can give them fewer callbacks. Callback means what? The rescheduling of the original program or the press control operation what they had planned in the morning, the travel cost, the cost for pesticide, and the image hampering of the company. So they wanted some product which can give them fewer callbacks, which can fight the resistance what they had as issue. The resistance management product which can be a resistance management product which can fight out the difficulties that the PCOs have been facing for last 15 to 20 years because of using the same product. We can improve their business in an efficient way, which can give them good control, safety to environment, safety to technicians, safety to client. And it's an important thing as the Indian PCO, they care for the technicians, the environment, and for the client the most. They wanted this product which can fulfill all these criteria. Next slide. So that's why after thinking, debating, and after doing extensive field trials in India, we thought about clothianidin, a novel nicotinide, and it is we have brought it by the name of SUMI Pride. It has high active contents, clothianidin 50%, and it's totally odorless and colorless. Somebody was asking on the chat whether the product is odorless. You will not realize that you're spraying something. It's just like water and spray. It's totally odorless. And important thing, considering the high-end houses now, hospitals now, or hotels now, the product is totally spotless. When you apply it on wood, when you apply it on a wall, there will be no stains and no spot. Other important thing of the product is that unlike carbamates or unlike synthetic pyrethroid, there will be no sneezing, no coughing. I've heard a lot of PCOs when I'm interacting with them that they are facing the issues of sneezing, coughing, irritation to skin with pyrethroids or with carbamates. So there is no coughing, no sneezing. You will not face any irritation with skin or eyes. Next slide. So what is SUMI Pride? It comes in a water dispersible granular form. It's a solid formulation. It's a mass of active ingredient that disperse to primary particles of dilution water. Unlike your wet oil powders, where when you dissolve wet oil powder water, you need to have separate can to make a slurry of that, and then you into pump. This is not a question. Just open the sachet, pour it into pump, and pour water in that. It immediately gets dissolved. Other thing is that it has higher persistence on porous surface. Now is emulsified concentrate, which I've been using for so many years of carbamate. The product is to get absorbed immediately into the porous surface. Or suspension concentrate compared to water dispersed granules, WDG formulation, they have less residual effect. But with WDG formulation, it will remain on surface for a very long time. Other thing is that it is low or it is almost non-dusty material. So what happens is that risk of inhalation toxicity for your technicians when they pour the material into the spray pumps or when they make a solution of that, the inhalation toxicity is very minimal. Other thing is higher amount of active ingredient delivered. That's very important for you. And with WDG formulation, with clothianidin, the nozzles are not going to get clogged, unlike what's to happen with carbamates. The nozzles don't get clogged over here. So the exact amount of solution, spray solution, what is required for carrying out bedbug control is achieved. This helps to achieve a long-term bedbug control with fewer callbacks. Next slide. So what does it contain? The product contains clothianidin, SUMI Pride. It has selective toxicity, is highly toxic to insects for bedbugs, but mammalian toxicity is very low. It has a very long residual effect. As I tell you, when it comes to future slide, I have done field trials of this product, and almost 3 to 4 months of efficacy has been observed. Wherever the issues of resistance to carbamates or pyrethroids are there, this is a different mode of action, nicotinide, This will help you to fight the resistance of bedbugs to carbamates and pyrethroids. Next choice. Next slide. So coming to safety profile, it has very low moment toxicity. It's a biodegradable product. It rapidly decays in the environment, and there is no accumulation of this product. It has no irritation on skin or on eyes. An important thing, if you see the LD50, the dermal LD50 is around above 5,000 milligram per kg of body weight. An important thing, if you see, it has a green triangle. It can be safely used in urban environment, and we have given you the do's and don'ts direction for use. Kindly refer to that. This product is from SCC Japan. So if you see the Japanese companies, the Sumitomo Chemical Japan, they are very concerned about environment. They care about people. They care about safety of technicians and human beings. So if considering all the safety aspect, this product has been launched in India to give you optimum results with safety for human beings, environment, and the clients. Next slide. The product has proven broad spectrum activity, but we are focusing it only for control of bedbugs in India over here. It has lowest dose. If you see the existing products in India, more than 25 to 40 ml or 10 ml of dose for bedbug control, the product has a dose of 1.6 gram per liter of water. So is for your logistic thing, it's going to be very convenient for the PCOs. The sachet is 6 gram sachet. So a PCO, the technician carry a sachet and it can be authenticatedly used. So you don't have to hide what you're using. You have to just go there, open the sachet, pour it into your tank and use it. If you see the efficacy, as per the regulatory thing, we have to do trials. The efficacy results are measured only for 4 weeks. But as I said, I've been doing this trial for last 3 to 4 years, pillar trials. And what we have observed is that more than 4 to 5 months practically on the field, the product has delivered results. Next slide. Costing wise or dose wise, dose I said is 1.6 gram per liter of water without a dose of 40 ml to 10 ml of other products which are being used in India right for bedbug control. The dose is very low. The costing per liter solution is very low compared to other products. An important thing is that it will reduce the callbacks, means reuse of the material in the same place, rescheduling schedules, or the transportation cost will all come down. Important thing is it will give peace of mind with a very low cost incurred for doing the service. Next slide. So when we go for treatment, with SUMI Pride, we need to have certain things in mind. Before going for treatment, just check with taking a bag. Now all the tools are there, like a flashlight is there. The flashlight should have bright flash with new batteries. It should not happen that you go to a site and batteries are not working. The flashlight is most important. You must have seen the video which Tommy shared with us. While doing the treatment, one of the gentlemen was flashing the light on the area to be treated. Then the magnifying glass, a lot of times the 1 mm size bedbug eggs, freshly hatched bedbugs are not seen. So important thing is that you should inspect it with magnifying glass. Then forceps. Forceps are really important to just take samples out. And syringe. Whenever you are doing pest control treatment, especially for fly in the bed, you require to inject that thing with syringe. If you spray pump with micron size particles may enter inside, the expected results will not be given there. Other thing is that however the product is, you should always wear the appropriate hand gloves, face masks and goggles. Now coming to bedbug inspection. So whenever you go for a bedbug inspection, inspect the entire area using a flashlight to identify all pockets of infestation. Other thing is that inspect uncommon places like smoke detectors, books, electronic equipments. Look for adults, nymphs, eggs, blood stains, dark spot, exoskeleton, skin at below mentioned spots. Other than that, Also, items from the floor, underside the bed should be removed and inspected. While doing the treatment, please take care that the bed which is there should be removed 2 to 3 feet away from the wall. Other than this thing, please check for mattresses, box springs, bed frames, headboards, then decks, chairs, carpet edges, wall hangings, under and behind baseboards. Also, one more thing is that normally when you treatment, we look below our eye level, we treat those areas. But above our eye levels also, behind the strip wallpaper, and the texture ceilings are there, the fire alarms are there, the smoke detectors are there, mirrors are there. We normally ignore them. Kindly take care that these areas are covered properly. Treat the wall voids, furniture voids, cracks and devices. Then please look behind the photo frames, wallpaper, clocks and pictures. A thing is that nowadays a lot of places carpets are there. Remove the carpet and treat them. Treat the mattresses, seams. The buttons on the mattresses are also important to be treated. Other thing near whatever is near to bed, the tables are there, then the sofas are there, the chairs are there, the desk drawers are there. Kindly treat them. Treat doors and window frames. Curtains uppermost parts is also on many occasions is not looked into. That is also a place where the bed bugs can be hiding. Then again the wall corners are there, the cloths and laundry is there. Then behind switch plates and electrical outlets, electrical appliances, you need to take at each and every area where the bed bugs can be hiding. Now coming to the treated areas, after treatment is over, normally you should keep the room vacant for 2 to 3 hours. It's not because of safety concern. The product is so safe, if somebody is there during the time of treatment, it's not going to harm because it doesn't have any vapor. It doesn't cause any irritation. It doesn't cause any cough, and totally odorless. But the product, the area which you treat needs to be dry for better result, for better product efficacy. After 2 or 3 weeks, you just go to the client, inform the client when the service is over that you're going to visit in next 2 or 3 weeks. With this product, what I experience is that you have to just go and inspect if there is any bed inspection or not. And on many occasions you'll find there is no inspection. But just as a measure, as a precautionary measure, inspect the areas where you are treated with SUMI Pride after 2 or 3 weeks. Inspect, evaluate, and discuss with the client on a regular basis. So the second thing is that in India we normally don't use traps. We don't use traps after the treatment is over. But as a precaution, as a measure of understanding whether the area has got reinfested, if you can start using traps to understand whether reinfestation happen or not. And lastly, if you can use interceptors to avoid if any bed bugs climbing up on the area which are treated first, that should actually help you out. Other thing is that about what are the treatments we have suggested here right now and what are the videos Chris or Tommy had shared. The same way we have made a video of SOP in India, which we will be sharing to you very soon. Our colleagues in India who will be meeting you in each part of it, like in Mumbai, Pune, Delhi, or any part of India, they'll be sharing the video of SOP to you. Next slide. So what is the key takeaways? Important thing is that with SUMI Pride, you can have peaceful sleep. The pest control organization can have peaceful sleep. It will provide a long-term residual effect with efficient control. It will take care about the resistant issue, what you have been facing for last 15 to 20 years. It will reduce on the callbacks. It will increase the efficacy of the treatment. And important thing is that it is very safe for environment, for your technician, for you and the clients where the product has been used. This will help you to have a peaceful sleep and for your clients as well. Thank you.
Thank you for that wonderful presentation, Nilesh. And we can see that there are many questions. Many participants have raised their hands. And I would still like to tell you that towards the end of this session, we have a question and answer round where all your questions will be answered. So please have patience, stay with us, and all your questions will be answered by our team of experts. So now, coming up to you is a video on an informative video on SUMI Pride, just for you.
Sumitomo Chemical India Limited is always known for providing quality and innovative pest control solutions to its customers. To ensure that you sleep well, Sumitomo has come up with a unique product, SUMI Pride. SUMI Pride is a broad-spectrum insecticide which is a new molecule for bedbug. SUMI Pride has easy operational usage and it is efficacious and has long residual. The active ingredient in SUMI Pride is highly stable and gives fast knockdown. SUMI Pride is colorless and odorless. SUMI Pride has been registered with CIB or the Central Insecticide Board. Mated female bedbugs lay 2 to 5 eggs a day and about 200 to 500 eggs in their lifetime. Eggs hatch in 6 to 10 days to the stage called nymph. From the egg stage to adult, the insect changes dramatically. Adults are always darker reddish brown. The complete life cycle of bedbug takes about 6 to 7 weeks under optimal conditions. Now that you know what the bedbugs look like, here's where to look for them. The first place to look for is the seams of pillowcases. Look for the yellowish skin they shed, the droppings and red smears on your bedsheet, clothes or pillowcases. The mattress itself is a notorious hiding place of the bedbugs. They usually nest around the seams and sides of mattresses. Also, look for them in bed storage areas as bedbugs find enough place to hide there. Don't forget to examine the bed frames and everything on the floor, including the side tables. Bedbugs would hide on or in wood, fabric, metal, anything which is close to their food source, and that is you. Also, check for the bedbugs in couch, easy chairs and desk areas, wherever you spend significant time lying or sitting idle. Once you have found the bedbugs, it's time for the spray. Before the start of spray, make sure that the person spraying wears the PPEs like mask, hand gloves, eye protection, etc. The dosage of SUMI Pride is mentioned in the leaflet. Mix appropriate quantities of SUMI Pride with water. Being a wettable dispersible granule, it mixes well with water. Open the windows before you start the spray, and always start the spray from your bed, the favorite hiding place of the bedbugs. Take a small quantity of SUMI Pride solution in a mug and use syringe to inject all the woodwork, cracks and crevices on wall, flooring and other areas. Inject SUMI Pride solution along the corners and joints in the furniture. After the treatment is over, rinse the spraying pump, syringe and mug with water. Keep all the equipment, PPEs, remaining chemical and inspection kit carefully in the bag and wash your hands properly. The sprayed area should be closed for minimum 2 hours and ventilated properly before using the premises again. For better long-lasting results, repeat the service after 15 to 30 days. Please remember, SUMI Pride is also available in easy-to-use and economical 6-gram packing. Sleep tight without a bite when you spray SUMI Pride.
Sleep tight without a bite when you spray SUMI Pride. So yes, ladies and gentlemen, that is SUMI Pride. And now, of course, you have a lot of questions and we are here to answer all your questions. But before that, I just want to show you a small image, a preview of the certificate that you would be receiving since you are a part of this launch event. And now we are open for the question and answer session. But before that, I would like to invite Mr. Sunil Saha to tell you how you can reach out to us if you have any questions.
Morning, friends. Welcome to the SUMI Pride launch again. And we are a team of people spread all over India. And our teams are placed in the northern region, eastern region, southern region, and western region. You can just note down the email address and the phone numbers. You can take a screenshot or you can write it down of your respective regions. I can see a lot of interesting questions, which if we cannot answer, you can always write to us or call us where to get the material or the sampling and anything you have. If we are not able to answer in this short time, we'll be getting back to you. Thank you so much, Garima. Now we start the question answer section. There are a lot of interesting questions from our pest control fraternity and the customers which are there. And some of the questions are relevant, which are directly for the Indian conditions and for the conditions in US. So the names are not there in certain Redmi. There's a question called, can this product destroy the bedbug eggs also? So Tommy, you or Chris, can you answer this, please?
I'm here. So with Crossfire, if you directly spray bedbug eggs, you know, we can get control. It wouldn't be like a residual where, you know, you treat a surface and then a bedbug lays eggs on that surface. It's not going to control that way. You would have to directly treat them. In the U.S. market, that's something we definitely see. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense. The Crossfire product, there's a question of please talk on comparable studies with a competitor which has been introduced by the certain companies. We will, Dr. Pradeep, we will definitely get back to you with this answer, and we will write back to you. And if you can just note down the email address and the phone number, we can talk over. And we have got your number. We'll get back to you. I would like Mr. Navneet Sharma. Garima, can you just put the audio for Mr. Navneet Sharma, who is there with a lot of questions? And can you just, because we have done a lot of sampling work, so can you unmute Mr. Navneet Sharma to hear from him?
Mr. Navneet, can you unmute yourself?
Yes, good morning, all of you. Are you hearing me?
Yes, good morning.
We can hear you.
So I am using this product and I have used it at 10-12 places and it is very good result. This product is good and I recommend to all of my PCO friends. And first of all, congratulations to Sumitomo for this launching this new product. My question is, we need some device or some monitoring device. Is it economical, not so expensive? So we require some for bedbug detection device. Could you suggest anything? Hello.
Yeah, we can hear you. In India, we don't have presently the devices. If our US team can just help us in giving this answer, so it will be great for our customers in India. So Chris.
And one, hello.
Yep.
Yeah,
hello.
Mr. Navneet, please go on.
If you share, you can share any video of anti-treatment it will help to educate our technician and maybe for customer also. Would you do this?
Mr. Navneet, for your first answer, Chris or Tommy is going to answer. Then the second question, I will reply to.
Okay.
So for bedbug monitors in the U.S. market, there's some relatively inexpensive monitors. Most of the most cost-effective monitors are the little climb-up traps, which is just a pitfall trap. It's the bedbug, since it doesn't like to crawl up smooth surfaces, it goes in. The outside of the trap has a rough surface, and it falls in, and you can see it. It's usually put underneath the legs of the bed itself. So if a bedbug was crawling to get to the blood meal, it would crawl up the trap and get stuck in the trap. Those are real commonly used. There's a couple glue board traps that are maybe a little more expensive. They have a pheromone that the University of California, Riverside discovered that's pretty effective on bedbugs, attracting bedbugs. There's multiple different kinds of monitors, either glue board traps or those little pitfall traps that we see in the U.S. market.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Tommy.
And I can share that information product wise. So if you want to look at it, I could share that with the group.
Sir, I will be highly thankful to you if you share it.
No problem.
And regard to your second question, Mr. Sharma, we will be sharing with all our teams in India small videos, SOP videos at different conditions. Like if you're doing in the residence, if you're doing some treatment in the residence, you'll have a short video. If you're doing in the commercial area, you'll have a video of that. If you are doing a hostel dormitory or a theater, so we'll be sharing a short video which is of 30-40 seconds, and the video which we have made, if you require, we will if you want, we will share with you. So the write-up will also be there with the packing, and you have to also see the label leaflet, the do's and don'ts mentioned in that write-up, and also the short video, so that you can share with your technicians, and technicians can really, it will be helpful for the technicians to see the video, and if they get stuck up anywhere, they can see the video and do the treatment. So we are coming out with short videos. Thank you so much, Mr. Sharma, for asking the questions. I'll proceed. Mr. Hitendra Mehta had asked a question that, can we mix clothianidin with oil to control bed bug in plywood? Sir, this is a WDG formulation, which means that it's a new formulation. It's a wettable dispersible granules. So it will be mixed only with water. So I'm sorry that as per the regulatory compliances also, the CIB has given us a permission to use in water. So we cannot recommend, or it cannot be used in oil. Thank you so much, Mr. Mehta, for raising these questions. Mr. Mukund has raised a question that the AI of Crossfire and SUMI Prides are same or different. The AI of SUMI Pride and Crossfire is different. It is different, and the question is, if different, what would be its implication from HSE point of view? So, Bala, do you have the answer for this? If you can.
Can you restate the question again, Sunil? Sorry.
The active ingredient of Crossfire and SUMI Pride are same or different? If it is different, what would be its implication from HSE point of view?
So we're talking about clothianidin, which is the same in both the cases. Correct?
Yeah.
Okay. So
the percentages of clothianidin are different.
Yeah. So the only difference is the percentage in the Crossfire and SUMI Pride. It is the percent, the AI is the same as our US product and our Japanese product, which we have in India. So Mr. Rishi has raised a question. Clothanidine has been registered in India against bedbug only. What about the cockroaches and flies? Yes, clothanidine has a label claim as per the Central Insecticide Board for bedbug, fly, and cockroach control. I would like to invite Mr. Suri, Navin Suri. He has raised a question. So Mr. Suri, can you just have your questions on the forum, please? Garima, can you just unmute Mr. Suri, please? Suri, please.
Mr. Suri, you can speak now. You have been unmuted.
Thank you very much, Garima. Good afternoon to everybody. I have very two small questions. That the dosage is 1.6 gram in 1 liter of water, even though the sachet is of 6 gram. Then how to measure, if you are giving any measuring cup or anything for that?
Sir, in regard to your first question, that we have introduced this product in the 6 gram sachet, so that we have the product, just stir it and pour it and spray it in one Calmix pump, which is of around 6 liter capacity. So usually we pour around 4 liters, 4.5 liters. So we don't require to measure the material. So that because of the low dosage, we have implemented a small packing. So we are not providing the 1.6 gram measuring cup.
Can I ask the second question, please? How much area the 1.6 gram after dilution in 1 liter of water will cover?
Basically, as per the regulatory body, we have a area coverage, and the covered area of the AI, it is around 13.7 square meter area, which is to be covered in the per liter solution. So we will give you the exact figures in that via mail, or we will share with you the CAB registration to calculate for you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much.
It's Sunil Bala here. I think there is a background noise coming.
Yeah, Mr. Bala. Bala, you can continue.
No, there was a background noise coming from your end. I don't know, there's another computer that's being a...
Okay.
Thank you.
Mr. Sujit. Still echoing, I suppose. Mr. Sujit has asked the shelf life of the product. Sir, the shelf life of the product is 2 years. That is as per the CID from the date of the manufacturing of the product. The shelf life as per the Indian regulatory authority is for 2 years. Mr. Firoz Ahmad has asked how to treat electrical appliances where bedbugs are hiding. So, Mr. Thomas, can you just reply for that?
Can you repeat the question?
How to treat the electrical appliances where bedbugs are hiding?
Tommy,
can we
were
mute?
you able to catch that question? Tommy, were you able to catch that? There's so much echo, it's hard for me to hear it.
Yeah, no, can we mute everybody and then try to see if that echo goes away?
Garima, can you mute?
Yeah.
Because I know you took a couple people off mute, and I think that's the issue. Yes. Can you repeat that again? Now I can hear.
Yes, okay. Now it is clear. Okay, Mr. Feroz Ahmad has asked, how to treat the electrical appliances where bed bugs are hiding.
Electrical appliances. Can't treat it with water. Typically, we would, in the US market, we would vacuum as much as we could electrical appliances. There's other ways to do it. You could heat. There's other, like when I was showing in the slide, the majority of the treatment is done with insecticide, but there's other combo things that we would do for electrical appliances, because we would not spray that with any kind of water product. We would do either heat treatment to that item or try to vacuum it as much as and get all the bed bugs out of it with a vacuum cleaner, some kind of non-chemical method.
Thomas, thank you so much for that reply. I hope you get the answer. Mr. Ahmed, you get the answer. If not, you can write it back to us. Thank you, Mr. Sugara, for appreciating the presentation. And it's quite encouraging to get such encouraging words from you and from the entire pest control fraternity. Then I will ask, okay, Mr. Jagdish, you have written when can this product be available in Bangalore. You can just note down Mr. Panduram's number. Panduram Sawant's number is there. You can coordinate with him if you require the material. Then Mr. Srivastav has written, what are the favorable conditions for infestation of bed bug by Mr. Mukul Srivastav, and any condition and any climatic conditions are required or not. And I will join this question with the frequency of application. I will reply the frequency of application as per Mr. Karmakar. As you have seen, Mr. Thomas's presentation and Mr. Nilesh's presentation, as per the US condition, the product, the active works till 3 to 9 months. In Indian conditions, as per the regularity, we have been asked to do the trial as per the protocol. We had to do up till 4 weeks. So the CIB has given us a 4 weeks efficacy, but practically, yes, definitely it works up till 3 to 4 months efficacy is there as per Mr. Nilesh's presentation. But in many cases, we have seen a longer efficacy if the application is done in a correct and proper way. So you get a longer efficacy. Thomas, can you answer Mr. Srivastav's question of what are the favorable conditions for infestation of bed bugs?
Favorable conditions. I think anybody can get bed bugs. I think for us, it's typically travel. That's why we have a season. You know, when you look at the bed bug season in the U.S. market, it is we have a lot of bed bug infestations in the summer. It's when kids are out of school and the families are traveling and they're going to hotels and bringing bed bugs home. So anybody who travels a lot or spends time in hotels, they're definitely candidates for bed bugs, which would be myself too, because I don't do a lot of travel.
Yeah, so just to add to that, we haven't really found, like, you know, anything in one home or another home that's favorable other than a host. If there's someone there to feed on and you know, there's bed bugs, it could be a spick and span home. It could be a home that's full of clutter. We find them in all environments. So really the only favorable thing is you need to somehow transfer them in the home, and there needs to be a host there, and you'll find bed bugs. Does that answer that question?
Yes, that adds to the and in Indian conditions, the optimum conditions is like in the humid region also the bed bug problem is high, mostly the season all. So,
yeah, temperature, and humidity, especially, bed bugs like high humidity. They're they're prone to dehydrating and losing water. So high humidity is perfect for them.
Absolutely. And moreover, to adding to what Chris and Thomas has said, that the bed bugs are nocturnal, so they hide in the darker places. So if there is any room which has not been used with the mattress or the furnitures, you have to see the darker rooms or the hiding places. Thank you so much. Mr. Nagesh Raghav has raised a question. Have you done some studies by comparing with steam? In India, we have not done. Our US team can reply, or Bala, have we have any studies, comparative studies with done with the steam treatment?
Yeah, so in the US, we really didn't look at steam. I don't remember any studies that we've done specifically at MGK. Unless Tommy, you can remember, we didn't focus on steam because
steam was very, very commonly used in the beginning when we first started treating for bed bugs. Now I think steam is used in very sensitive areas like hospitals, schools, any place where you're really truly concerned, because steam is like a direct. When you directly hit a bed bug with steam, you can kill it, but there is no residual, of course. So it is not used as often as a lot of the other control measures, like a vacuum cleaner. But it's there. Used in very sensitive accounts. Typically, we use steam.
Thank you so much, Tommy, for answering this. There are a few more questions and many questions. We cannot, because we are running short of time. I'll just take 2 or 3 questions, and then I'm sorry that if I'm not able to answer today, we'll get back to you with all these questions. And we really apologize for not answering these questions. But there's one question that can it be used for mosquitoes apart from bed bugs? So I'm sorry, Mr. Mehta, it is not approved for mosquito control by CIB, and it cannot be used against mosquito control. And I'll take another short question. If you spray other chemicals from after some days, bed bugs appear again, what about SUMI Pride? As you have gone through the presentation of Chris and Tommy and Mr. Nilesh, so we have said that the efficacy of the product remains there. If it is not dusted away or removed, the product remains there and the efficacy will remain as per the CIB 4 weeks. So any other thing which I can just say? I'm sorry again that it's already 7 minutes crossed. We have a lot of questions, but I apologize again not to answer all the questions. So we'll get you with the answers for your questions. So thank you so much for joining. Garima.
Thank you so much, Mr. Sunil, for that wonderful round of question and answer. And for all of you who have questions still, of course, I'm sure there are many of you who have your questions. Please reach out to us at 991846384. You can send your questions there, or if you have clicked the photograph of the slide that I have shown earlier of all our team members, you can reach out to any of those and ask your questions. And now this again is the preview of the certificate that you would be getting. You were a part of this digital launch of SUMI Pride, a safe, novel Japanese product for bedbug control. I'll repeat again, if you have questions, write it at 991846238, or you can reach out to our team of people, our sales team members, who will answer all your questions. Please be assured that all your questions will be answered. And now again, I would like to invite upon Mr. Sunil Saha for a thank you note. Mr. Sunil Saha, may we have you again, please?
At the end of the session, I just want to thank you once again. Thank you so much. First of all, I take this opportunity to thank all the participants, pest control fraternity, our business associate, customers across India for the overwhelming support and trust shown to Sumitomo family with the launch of SUMI Pride. It gives me an immense pleasure to let you know that that approximately 250 delegates have joined and participated, and there are the registered participants were around 500 plus on this partially virtual launch program, which ensures that trust bestowed on us. It is already 12 a.m. in United States, and we thank Team US for their support by sharing their technical know-how and experiences. I also thank our global team from US, Singapore, Japan to be a part of the launch program. A special thanks to our team in headquarters Tokyo, Japan to support us in introduction of newer molecules and products in the Indian market. We thank our managing director for believing us and supporting us. Lastly, I thank our marketing team, sales team, and support staff. Without them, this launch would have been a challenge. Once again, thank you so much. Jai Hind, Vande Mataram. Thank you so much.
Thank you all for joining. And thanks to the entire team. Do not forget to reach out to us if you have any questions. The phone number is 99184-62384. Alternately, you can reach out to our team and they will answer all your questions. Thank you so much for being a part of this wonderful event. And with that, we say a bye-bye to you, and we'll meet again sometime, somewhere for another product launch. Thanks a lot.